All right. Give me a sec. All right. Let's go. Awesome. Looks great. Perfect. I decided to make the room green today just because. Hope you guys are doing great today. Um Here, just give me a sec. Just making sure everything looks good. Heidi ho, everyone. I hope you guys are doing really great today. I'm doing very good today too. Um if you were here on the last stream, I had said that I'm not going to be streaming on Friday or Saturday. And that's just because I'm going to be going to a party on Saturday, but I'll be streaming again. On let me think. On Sunday and on Monday too. And then hopefully we will go back to our normal schedule by then, and there isn't any like things getting in the background and all that stuff, you know. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing really great today. We have a bunch of cool stuff to talk about. I wanted to talk about movies mainly today because I watched both The Meg and also The Meg 2. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just talk about movies while I play Minecraft. You know what I mean? So, if you have a favorite movie that you've watched, let me know what that movie is. I would genuinely love to hear if any of you guys have watched any cool movies lately, or, you know, anything that's caught your attention lately and you're like, oh man, this was actually a really great movie. I'll just talk about like some movies that I've watched lately, and you know, I'll just chat about movies. That's all I want to do today, while also work on this project. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to the two Megalodon movies, was that it was super entertaining. Like, it's not an extremely serious either of those two movies, but I don't know, I had fun watching it. I just want like movies, like I want how do you say? I want like a third Meg movie because I think that would be pretty cool. Like I enjoyed in that movie. Well, let's just go with the first Meg. The first one was really a really fun one, I would say. Like the premise, it's interesting. Like I believe at the bottom of the Mariana Trench in the movie, there is a layer that is separating the rest of the ocean from the bottom. Well, excuse me. Let me just put it to you like this. There's the top layer where there's the rest of the ocean. Then there's this dark void area that separates like the temperature of the ocean from like the cold to the warm. And the scientists break through to the to the warmer side under in the Mariana Trench, and like, you know, they find a world that is like, wow, this is really cool. And then they figure out that there's a megalodon, well, two megalodons that are at the bottom of this space. And yeah, an action flick film, and I don't know, like the action in it was really fun, and just like I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed just seeing the action and just like the story. I also how you say with like the how you say, I'm trying to figure out how I can put this. When it came to the human characters, like I can't remember the name. Jason Statham, I believe that's his name. He's in both movies, and he was really good. He actually did a lot of his own stunts actually in those two movies. And yeah, no, I can appreciate someone who's committed to their craft like that. And if you haven't seen either Meg movies, you should. They're really great. Very fun. Uh, Slightly dumb, but stupid kind of. They say fun dumb movies. That's what I'll just say. I don't mean dumb as in like an insult. They're just like silly, nothing like too serious that you should like, take from those movies. Just fun. That's what I That's why I've been watching lately. Those two movies and a couple other movies. Some of these movies, like when it comes to like movies that I watch, a lot of movies I tend to watch, I've seen plenty of times. I just enjoy movies that much. And there, just give me a sec. There. There we go. When it comes to like movies, I just enjoy like rewatching them. And that's just because like I just enjoy doing that. But the other movies that I've watched lately have of course been Phantom of the Opera, 1925. I really did enjoy rewatching that. I also rewatched Creed for I think it was like now like the third time. And honestly, I enjoyed that movie. I don't really care for like boxing stuff or anything like that. But like I don't know, it's a good movie. Good movie. So yep. Let me think. What else have I watched lately? Oh, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That was a really good one. I enjoyed it. Honestly, there's one like version, like there's this one movie that I saw plenty of ads for. It came out a while ago, but Timothy Chalamet as Willy Wonka. I have not seen that movie, but I don't know. Personally, I don't really see myself watching that movie. Personally, I, hey bro, what's up, man? How are you doing? Here, let me just turn on the fan. That's good. But yeah, welcome, man. How are you doing? Perfect. There. Hmm. Ooh, okay, okay. I'm doing I'm good. Just chilling. What's your opinion on the new He-Man movie? That's a good question. When it comes to He-Man, honestly, well, the feel of the movie just reminds me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if James Gunn is behind it, but honestly, like, I really hope that it doesn't end up acting and feeling like a Marvel movie, like an MCU movie. I enjoy like the MCU, but I have to admit, like sometimes it's a bit like tacky. Like it's extremely formulaic. I enjoy the MCU, right? But like sometimes like they're like always cracking a joke, and like I enjoy cracking jokes too, but it just gets too much sometimes, you know? And a part of me thinks that the He-Man movie will have like those elements. Like yeah, they can make a joke and everything, but like when they go a little bit too far with like just being like the MCU, but being like the MCU, but like not a comic, like a comic book adaptation. That's just what I'm gonna say. I hope it does well, but I really hope they change my expectations, because that's what my expectations are. But what about you, Wilderness Lad? What do you think? What do you think of that He-Man movie coming out? Hmm. Well, you know, actually, I was just thinking about it. Hopefully, like they get more like I bet it will be better than like the one from the 80s. Like they're like the first ever live action version of He-Man. I think it will be much better, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. There we go. But I'm having like high expectations for the Odyssey. I'm really having some high expectations. I don't care if it's like 3 hours or so, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Just give me a sec. It will be interesting to see if it actually is going to be good film. It has been a long time since the one's been out. Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Like, I feel like, well, I don't know if it's just like the industry now, but DC, as much as I enjoy like the DC movies, but I say this when it came to like the Batman movies from like the early 2000s to like mid 2000s a little bit with Christopher Nolan, those movies were like a little bit too serious, but like at the same time, like this was before Marvel, well, specifically like Guardians of the Galaxy. That's when like big blockbuster movies started to act like the MCU, like 2014. That's when um Guardians of the Galaxy came out and like created the vibe that most of those movies like that have, you know, been imitating, at least like style wise. I can a little bit appreciate uh DC in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s slightly. Like that, like it was a bit too serious, but at least it's different than like how the MCU is, and like how like DC now has just copied the same formula. If I'm going to be honest with you. So, yeah. But is anyone going to see that new Christopher Nolan oh, I hope the Mortal Kombat movie will be good, but I don't think movies based on Oh no, they do. They do well. They do well. Movies that are based on like video games have done like actually better. Like here, let me just turn off the fan here because I'm trying to like figure out how I'll put this. To be honest with you, like the Mario movie, like those movies, like the Minecraft movie, not the best thing, but it was decent. It was kind of good. The Sonic movies, and like I haven't seen the second like Super Mario movie, so I can't really say anything on that. But the Sonic movies have been like a very good like getting people like interested, I would say. And even like if you ask me which one is better, the like FNAF 2 compared to like the original FNAF movie, I would have to say the first FNAF was actually more interesting. Like there has been like an effort to like, you know, create like how do you say good adaptations of like video game movie. Well, like video games in like movie form. If you want to like look at like let me think. If you want to look at like the earliest like video game movie like video game to movie games, well, video game to movie like examples, Hollywood has done like a not so great job in the past. Like everyone knows about the that one movie that I say the live action version of Doom that came out. That one was not so great. There's going to be a third, but I wish that they wouldn't because FNAF movies were not good. Really? That's interesting actually. Hmm. I'm trying to think of like arguably the best one personally. I would have to say like when it comes to like like movie adaptation of video games, I would have to argue the Sonic movies have been like the best ones personally. I think the like live action Sonic movies have been like the best one personally. I've only seen like the most well not the most recent Galaxy uh, Mario movie, but I enjoyed the one with Chris Pratt playing as Mario. I thought that one was pretty good. I haven't heard much like positive or even anything about like that like Halo TV show, live action Halo show. I can't really see that doing too well because I haven't heard a lot of like stuff about that show specifically. I watched like this one like early 2000s early 2000s like mid 2000s Halo movie. I can't remember the name of it specifically, but it was bad. It was bad movie. It was on Netflix during that time, and like, eh, I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it one bit. So, yeah. You know, Halo could be a really great like movie franchise if like, you know, if they had like the best like direction for that stuff. Like maybe if they got like one of the game developers for like the writers from like the Halo series to like actually like do a good adaptation of the video games into like the movies, but I'm not sure. If they were to like make like a good like how do you say adaptation of the Halo franchise as like movies, like it wouldn't make sense for it wouldn't make sense if they were like kind of like what like I brought it up earlier with like how Marvel has influenced all the action pack like action movies like with DC, and I feel like with the He-Man movie that's coming out, I feel like they shouldn't like try to like they shouldn't try to be like those movies. They should have their own tone that fits with like the Halo universe. If you ask me, that's what I would say. Like it should be a little bit more serious and not jokey. I don't, when I think of Halo, I don't think of like an extremely like combining action with comedy. Like I don't think of Halo in that way, no. Cuz that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel like Halo if they were trying to like imitate like the Marvel and DC universe with like the comedy that is like spread out across the films, and it just feels slapstick. It wouldn't make sense. Would not make sense for a Halo movie. But yeah. Let me see. FNAF. I enjoyed the first one. I feel like they just should have like left those like they should have just left the FNAF like just the one FNAF movie. They just should have left it. They shouldn't have made like a second one. Like don't get me wrong, the second one was pretty interesting, but I don't know, I feel like they just kind of it's going to become sloppy personally. You know, it's kind of like with Jaws, for example. Like, if you want like a good example of like how to kill a franchise, the Jaws franchise, well, the Jaws movies were like the best example because when Jaws 2 came out, it did well. It was a little bit lower quality, but you know, the fans still went and watched it. And then Jaws 3 came out, and that was like more shaky, but there were still people interested. And then Jaws 4 came out, and that's when it killed that franchise. Like sometimes I feel like when you get like studios that are hungry for more of like that specific film, and like you want to make it into a franchise, I feel like sometimes Hollywood will repeat the same mistakes of the past until that train is no longer viable. And I feel like with FNAF, it's going to go in that same direction. They just should have stopped. They should have just stopped at the very first movie because it's a good movie. But I don't know. The same thing's going to happen to FNAF, much like Jaws, the original Jaws. That movie was fantastic. And it was a good, oh, this is terrible. We have to stop it. And then they stopped it. And then end of story. I don't know. I just thought they would been interesting to put it in that way, you know. There's a lot of good movies out there that like deserved like sequels, and sometimes like the sequels of like of those movies do expand on like what the original movie had left behind. Like honestly, Aliens, that was a fantastic movie. It expanded on what Alien, the original Alien from 1979 did, and said, "Oh, like, you know, we got more action in there and just like cool things that added more to the lore of the xenomorphs." Like honestly, like that's a great example of like that's a great example of being smart about your decisions when it comes to like movies. If you ask me, I'm not. Oh, give me a sec. I like how the handling of the Friday the 13th and not making a movie just a show about his lore. Well, honestly, I haven't heard much about like that project specifically, but hmm, maybe if they did like some alluding to like the future of like, well, you know, since it's a prequel show, like I think that in some ways they should leave like small snippets of what happens after the fact. Like I think that will like hopefully they have like some good people who can try to like write it. They can write a good script in order to make sure that they're not writing the demise of it, because I think it would be pretty interesting if like I want to make sure to be very clear. I think if they are smart with like if it's just like a mini series, I think that would be a great thing. If they were to like say, "Oh, we're going to do like a season 2," then that wouldn't be good. They said it is his past, no hockey mask. Then that's good. Well, I know you personally, Wilderness Lad, and you had told me that it's just going to be a how do you say? Well, yes, a prequel series, and they're going to show like how everything culminated to the point when Jason had drowned and everything that comes afterwards. To be honest with you, it should just be a mini series. With like a mini series, I think it's the perfect way of making sure that there isn't a season 2 or whatever, because when you do stuff like that, you're you're hurting the character and hurting everything surrounding that, if you ask me. Maybe some fans might come around and say, "You know what? I actually like this new edition." But again, to bring up like Alien, for example, people were mad with the Prometheus movie and Alien Covenant. Like some fans have come around to those films now, but when it originally came out, people were like, "Oh, this fucks up the timeline." And that movie got a lot of criticism for that. Messing up with anything when it comes to the past, when it comes to a movie, is oh that opens up a lot of negativity when it comes to like films. If I'm gonna be honest with you. But what about you? What do you think? If you were the director or the writer, well, like the head writer of the show, how would you approach like the origin story? Oh, uh-oh. Okay, we better get some sleep. Oh, okay. Come on. Hear me yapping and then I get Where is the damn guy? Okay, let's go. I better run. Which also, I need to get some water, so good. I would focus on the lore, not current events. Well, yeah, no, that's why it's a prequel series. It's in the name, prequel. Pre-events. But, yeah. Alright, there we go. Alright, there we go. But yeah, you never want to mess with the timeline. You never want to mess with the timeline of any movie or show or comics or just anything if you're not delicate enough, because then you can create a time paradox and then like you get so many questions until it loses like what made it interesting in the first place, kinda. That's a bad way of putting it, but you know. Freddy vs. Jason was a trash movie. Disrespectful to Jason. Well, yeah, no, that movie was not really good. No, it wasn't. Like, you also kind of have to remember that it was around the same time, like, I think Alien vs. Predator came out. Let me think. When did it come out? The original one came out in 2004. Actually, can you guys check for me? I can't right now, but when did Jason versus... Well, Freddy versus Jason came out. I think that's where his nickname Mama's Boy came from. I think so. I'm not too entirely sure, but when did Freddy vs. Jason come out? You could look that up for me. I would appreciate it. I was gonna say like, oh, it was like around the same. Well, it was kind of around the same time that Alien vs. Predator came out, but I don't know. I just want to make sure I hear that that movie came out before Alien vs. Predator did. Okay, so that one came out first, and then Alien vs. Predator. Okay, I was just making sure. I was making sure the timeline is correct, because I was gonna say, oh, it was like the same time, like when those movies coming out. It came out a year before Alien vs. Predator. Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. Also, can you see who was the director? The director is always a good indicator, or like the head director. Well, head writer, or, you know what I mean, producer. Well, the producers are important, yeah, but they, like, compared to, like, the head writer, well, you know, the writer, the director, the editor, I think he should be the standard for slashers. Well, honestly, Jason is. People will say Michael Myers is like the standard for slashers. But to be honest with you, you can literally look at like ads or not even ads. Like when you put in like slasher serial killer in like in a fictional kind of way, like you look at Rooney Yu directed it. I'm not really familiar with that director. Maybe if some movies were like, you know, if I had like a couple examples, then I'll be like, oh, okay. I've seen some of those movies. What was I gonna say? I was saying something. Oh, yeah, now I remember. When it comes to like slashers in like cartoons or like ads on television, they'll usually have like, oh, here's the guy with the hockey mask. Like honestly, like Jason has been the standard. Not for all of them, but for like what's that guy? The trapper in ooh, he's the perfect description of a slasher. Screw Michael Myers. Ooh. Well, honestly, Michael Myers, like, he deserves to be recognized because he was and is and well, I don't know how I put it. Was and is like a legend for a reason. But to be honest with you, like the idea of Jason and like the look of Jason has been hugely like important for like when we talk about like slashers, he's been like the standard. That's what I would say. I would say Michael Myers has been like when people think about like a slasher in their minds, they either think this, like they think of a silhouette and they have like a knife and it's like pointing this way. They'll think, oh, exactly, Michael Myers or Michael Myers like kind of person. Or they'll think a silhouette of someone holding an axe or like something like this. Probably they'll think, oh, a Jason Voorhees like character. I don't know. That's what I would say. Jason and Michael, they're also icons. And nobody can take that away from them. It's amazing. He went from a potato sack and hatchet for to hockey mask and axe. Yeah, absolutely. Well, honestly, to kind of talk about like action figures for a sec, the company NECA has, like, I'm not sponsored by them. I would take a sponsorship from them just because I love their products. And I'm not even saying that as like a, like however creator says, oh, I use this all the time. Like that kind of stuff. No. Literally, just give me a sec. Literally in the back over there, I have an entire thing, all of NECA figures. I have 2017 Ultimate action figure of Pennywise. I have the Nightmare Demon from An American Werewolf in London. I have the Wolfman from 1941. I also have the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I have Phantom of the Opera. Count Orloff as, well, from the movie Nosferatu. I have Grandpa Monster from the Munsters. I also have Dracula in there too. I have the Metaluna mutant from this island Earth. I also have a warrior xenomorph, and I have an engineer neomorph, and a bunch of other ones. Yeah. Alright, just give me a sec. I need to fix this. My carpet is messed up now. Alright. My friend ordered me a Jason one, so I'm pumped for that. He's my king. Yeah. Well, you know, honestly, again, if you go to NECA's website and just go to like their section on Friday the 13th, they have a bunch, and I mean a bunch of Jasons. The one with the potato sack one, they have made that one. They have one of a retro video game one. They have it. They have a bunch, and I mean a bunch. You think of it, they have it. They also have a Sam from Trick or Treat. They've all of it. They have all of it. NECA, I love NECA a lot. They're probably one of my favorite companies out there when it comes to collectibles and just companies in general. They're really sick. I actually pre-ordered, it's called The Game of Jaws, and it's it's not an ultimate figure, but you don't say. If you don't believe me, go to their website or look up NECA, N-E-C-A, into your browser and put in Friday the 13th or Jason, and then you'll, then you'll be like, this is sick. It's going to be in the background of my stream. Awesome. That's fantastic, dude. And again, I should say this. When it comes to NECA figures, or just anything when it comes to NECA, they are kind of slightly pricey. Like, I would have to say, time to get the credit card out? Yes. Like, honestly, like, the most expensive thing I've got from NECA is, well, it's going to arrive at some point, but it is the Bruce the Shark, The Game of Jaws, and the second thing I plan on getting in the future is the Kessler Wolf from An American Werewolf in London. And it's like pretty cool. So yeah. I also have like a couple Gremlins back there and Terror Tunes. And I also have like some other like generic horror stuff that aren't from NECA. And just like some like Funko Pops. I have like Cthulhu, and one of my friends actually for the holidays. Let me go grab those two actually. Just give me a sec. They actually got me a Dracula Funko and also a Count Orlok from Nosferatu. And also I have Cthulhu over there too. Ooh, that hurts. Let's see. Is there anyone I want to show a little bit closer to the camera? Oh, sure. When it comes to like science fiction movies from the how do you say, from like the 1950s. All right, there we go. When it comes to like science fiction movies from the 1950s, there's a bunch of like really great movies, but one that I really wish that they had this guy more in the film. He was only in it for like a couple minutes, like I want to say like 10 minutes or something. Is this guy? This is the Metaluna mutant from the movie This Island Earth. And in the film, these guys are like a slave alien race that serve the like main alien species. And no, I remember like seeing this guy like years ago, like a decade, more than a decade ago. I was like, damn, that guy looks awesome. And then I saw him, and he was like on like the Walmart website, and I bought him, and he just looks super super cool. So yeah, if you haven't watched This Island Earth, it's a really good, fun. Well, it's a little bit slow, but it's a good science fiction movie. I did a whole stream all about like classic 1950s, 60s science fiction movies. I think I brought up that movie. I'm not sure. Just give me a sec. Carpet, right? There we go. But yeah. Love NECA. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I would take a sponsorship from them, but just because, again, it's not a bit or anything. I do love NECA. I love NECA a lot. Like, I plan on getting all the Universal monsters, putting them right next to each other, and it's going to be amazing. And then I'm going to get Jason. I'm going to get Freddy. I'm also going to get... ooh, okay. I'm also pumped for the new Jeepers Creepers movie. I did not hear that there was a Jeepers Creeper... Well, a new Jeepers Creepers movie. I did not hear that there was a new one. Or at least if I did hear about it, I wasn't like, wow, that's awesome. But, yeah. No, I think I did... Okay, before we move on, I do want to say that when it comes to the slasher stuff, the Trapper from... what's that game? Dead by Daylight. The Trapper is obviously very much influenced by Jason. So, you know, it's important to recognize that, you know, these icons can inspire, like, well, actually, you know, with every kind of thing that's ever created, there's always an inspiration, and it comes from something else, you know? It goes for music, it goes for art of all kinds. It's, you know, that's the beautiful thing. You know? Jason is now in the game like he deserves to be. Yeah. Well, you know, honestly, like, I don't know, I think it's awesome, actually. And you know there's a lot of, like, fanboys out there that enjoy, like, I like Jason. I wouldn't call myself a big fan, but I know a lot of people who are. And honestly, you know, hope you guys are having a great time with him. when it comes to like 80s slashers specifically, I don't really care for those guys, but I would say maybe like Freddy is like more cool to me personally. If I'm going to be honest with you. So, yeah. Alright. Oh, this has been amazing. This has been going great. I'm really enjoying this stream. Like, occasionally I'll talk about movies here on stream, but I haven't really done like a real dedicated thing to like, you know, just talking about movies. But no, it's great. You're gonna dedicate a stream to him? That's awesome, man. That's great. I'm happy to hear. Well, you know, honestly, when it comes to like, well, I know I bring up tattoos a bit, to say the least, here on my stream, but to be honest with you, like, maybe next year, maybe on like the anniversary, I'm planning on getting the creature from the Black Lagoon and putting him right here, and he's gonna look awesome. He's my favorite Universal monster, and he's also like, how you say, extremely popular. Like, I haven't met a person who hasn't said that creature is their favorite. Dracula is a second favorite of mine, but you know, he was the very first like Universal monster that I really enjoyed. Then I got his movie before I did anyone else. And when it came to NECA figures specifically, I went for the creature, and then everyone else came afterwards. So when it comes to like tattoos of like, I do want to get like 2 other Universal monsters, but before those guys, like before Phantom and Dracula, I'm gonna make creature my second one. Well, no. He'll be my first one, and then Dracula, and then Phantom of the Opera, and maybe Wolfman. I'm still thinking about Wolfman. I don't know if I want to, but you know, yeah. There we go. There we go. And also, at some point, when I make my second channel, actually, I'm going to make a dedicated video to Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I'm going to talk about his history, and I'm going to do everything I can attribute to the creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm going to do it. Much like what I did for the Misfits, but I'm going to do like much more, as much as I can, for creature. Which, by the way, I still need to actually create the second channel and then start filming some videos. Which it'll be something. I'm gonna try to like work on some like cool stuff for the channel specifically. Which I'll let you guys know. And if you want to subscribe to that channel, I would appreciate it immensely. Woo! That's so cool. That's so cool. I love just jumping from high places. Ooh. What is this? Okay. Nothing really down there. Nothing to see there. Come on. Ah, there we go. We got it. We got fresh air before we actually went kaput. Alright. But, yeah. I actually wanted to hear something from you guys, because I'm genuinely curious. Lately, I've kind of been wanting to, like, find, like, an actually good comedy. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of finding... It's kind of hard to actually find a good comedy. When it comes to, like, actually good comedies, a lot of them tend to be older. Like... Dracula Dead and Loving It, or like Airplane, Spaceballs, all those good movies. I can't really find like a really good comedy out there that I could just like sit and just watch. Obviously, Will Ferrell has some great movies. It has a lot of good movies, but I just want to find like an actually like another really good one to just get into. If any of you guys have like an idea, or like, I'll just leave these guys to like wander. If any of you guys actually do have like a good comedy, it doesn't even have to be a movie. It can also just be like a series. Let me know, because honestly, I've just been trying to find like an actual good like comedy to watch, you know? Something that isn't not old. Old as in like, how should I say this? At least if it's a decade old, then probably not. Like, I want like a actually good comedy. I was watching The Munsters actually earlier, and you know, I enjoy the comedy. I think it's great. But like, I don't know, I just want to find like an actually like a good modern comedy to actually watch. And just to be clear, no specials. I'm not talking specials. No, just actual movies. Actual movies, not a stand-up. Like, there's some, like, when it comes to, like, stand-up, those are really, they're fun, yeah. But I'm not really in the mood to, like, watch, like, a stand-up thing. Well, actually, oh, no, I was just thinking about it. Oh, no. I just remembered something. You know, I was, well, okay, this is a, okay, how should I put this? There was this one comedian who was coming into town, and I was thinking about getting, like, tickets to go and see him. But, unfortunately, one of the biggest, like, local organizers for concerts or like events, live events, unfortunately, they went out of business. Like, they shut down, and I'm just like, oh no, that's terrible. It is terrible, you know what I mean? And the thing is, I don't want to go through Ticketmaster and like just go through them when it comes to like, you know, a live event. Like, there's other ones, yeah, but that was like the biggest one for me. And it's just, I don't know, it's upsetting. It really is. So, I do know that the one show I'm going to in June, it is still going to happen. But I really hope that that doesn't get canceled just because of that organizer going out of business. And it's not because like that company like did bad or anything. It was just because like the cost of, you know, keeping it afloat. I don't know. It's just it's a real sad thing. And to be honest with you, I just would have to say like I don't know. I prefer more local event organizers than I do something like Ticketmaster or Live Nation. That's all I'm gonna say. If I had the money and like all that stuff, oh my gosh, my eye. Ah, if I had the money, I would definitely, like, you know, like establish like a local company thing, and I would make sure to like, you know, not use things like Ticketmaster or like Live Nation just because those two companies, fuck them. They're too much. Well, no, not just too much, but there's other stuff around those two specifically. But, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about movies and other things in entertainment. There we go. I should probably go get some sleep now. All right. Whew. I feel good. All right, when we get back, I'm gonna jump in this water because look how beautiful it is. It reminds me of like the Maldives. You know how beautiful and clear their water is. Just perfect. Just great stuff. By the way, I'll probably I don't know. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking. Let me get some sleep now. I don't want phantoms to mess with me. By the way, if they are gonna give like that creature the name Phantom, it should actually be a ghost or something. I don't know. Minecraft should add ghosts and werewolves. That'd be so sick. And vampires. And other kinds, like, actually have, like, dragons, besides, like, the Ender Dragon, which is the only dragon in vanilla Minecraft. But, I don't know. That's me. This was me. All right, ready? Into the water we go. Oh boy, that's so cool. I'm sorry, I get all giddy. Like, I just, I enjoy this kind of water. I can't wait to like decorate the bottom here and like, under the sea, under the sea, do that kind of stuff. That's so silly, but I love being silly. All right. Anywho, all right, let me grab that. Oh, whoa, whoa. All right. Speaking of ocean and sea, I did a whole stream on like ocean and all that stuff, But to be honest with you, when it comes to like ocean movies, like films that are like around the ocean and all that stuff, there's a couple really good ones. Like, if any of you guys have seen, like, let me think. What's that one movie? It was like a sci-fi movie directed by James Cameron. And no, it's not Titanic. Well, Titanic isn't a sci-fi movie, but you know what I mean. I think it's called The Depths. No, it's called The Abyss. That's a good movie. That's a good movie. If you haven't watched it. I watched that movie almost 9 years ago, a whole decade ago, and that was a really good movie, actually. If you want, like, how do you say, there's like I think it was an alien species that lived at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and there was like a whole high stakes of like, oh, we need to like come to have peace with these aliens, or they'll like rise and then like take over the surface. That one was really good. If you haven't watched The Abyss, you should. It's a good like action sci-fi kind of movie that takes place at the bottom of the ocean. That's a good one. When it comes to other aquatic movies, well, there's a bunch of shark movies out there. Like, I would say Jaws and The Meg. Those are good ones. I would also say... What's that one movie? 20 Meters Down, I think? That's a good one. Oh, yeah. When it comes to, like, other movies, ocean stuff, we always have to bring up Pirates of the Caribbean. That's a good one. You know, sometimes I'll get into like I want to have like a pirate day, or I want to have like a western day, or whatever, where I'll watch something that is remotely like close to that thing. That's why I do enjoy some video games like Sea of Thieves. That's a good one. Really great game. I played that with a couple of my friends, and that, like, I don't know, it's a fun little game play. And I will also what else? Oh, Titanic, another great movie. Another great movie involving the ocean. Oh. Oh, Castaway. Castaway, another great movie too when it comes to like ocean related stuff. Yeah, no, honestly, like, I remember when I was in middle school and I was living in Connecticut at the time. Actually, we were right on the beach, and it was like really cool. I had a very interesting time while I was living in Connecticut. But anywho, Castaway was one of those movies that I would go and watch on TNT. I watched a bunch of like action movies and sci-fi movies. Other, like, besides things like the Sci-Fi Channel, I watched like a bunch of action and like some like sci-fi movies that were on that channel. And Castaway, I had like recorded it on the VCR, I believe. Yeah, that's what it's called, the VCR. And like I would watch that movie. I would watch it. And, you know, I really enjoyed it. Great movie. And of course, losing Wilson was a major tragedy for that poor guy. Like, I don't know. Honestly, I kind of ask myself, what would I do if I was in that kind of situation when it came to, like, you know, being trapped on an island, and you have to learn all these skills. To be honest with you, like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. You know, sometimes I'll watch like some like YouTube. Sometimes I'll watch some like bushcraft stuff and survival stuff that is like adjacent to it. And every time I like watch those like videos, I would say, man, these guys learned some really important skills when it comes to like survival stuff. And I don't know, it makes me like smile seeing these people like, you know, dedicate a lot of time to like their craft. And again, like, I don't know, I think Castaway as a movie is like a huge, and I mean huge, movie for like really showing you how far the human spirit can go when you're like, when things look extremely bleak. That's what I love about that movie. And not, you know, not to say that what Tom Hanks' character had to go through was all great. No, he went through a lot of stuff in that movie. And I don't know. It really connects here, you know. We've all had those kinds of things in our lives before. And that's what I really like about Castaway. Great movie. Absolutely great movie. And again, I would never want to be in that kind of situation that Tom Hanks' character was in. And you know, honestly, Tom Hanks is as an actor, he's really great. Well, everyone knows this fact. Who doesn't not love Tom Hanks? Everyone has to love Tom Hanks because he's just a great actor, a great human being. Yeah. I remember that he was in the movie Catch Me If You Can, and it has Leonardo DiCaprio in the film, and he's like fleeing around the world. He's trying to flee like the FBI, and Tom Hanks' character is actively like searching for him, doing like a manhunt. It's a really good movie. Well, you know, actually, something interesting that I had learned like a bit ago was in the scene, like during like the Christmas scene where it's like, oh, we're supposed to believe that like the little village in the film that's supposed to be like France. No, that was actually filmed in Quebec City, actually, in Canada, actually. So if you ever go to like the Christmas market in Quebec City, like you can even still see that one church in that scene. And honestly, like, again, like when it comes to like selling the idea that you're in this country, like it's supposed to be France. Honestly, they did a really good like um location choice instead of going like, you know, directly to France. Find like a place to actually like you know, film that scene or even like the whole movie. Like for example, like when it comes to like location choices, Amity Island in the movie Jaws, the actual location where that film was filmed, there's no such like small like town as Amity Island, but in the film, Amity Island was played by what's the name of it? It was on the tip of my tongue. Martha's Vineyard. That's the name of the place. And you know, you can still go to Martha's Vineyard and actually see the you know, these places that are still there. It's pretty cool. I haven't been to Martha's Vineyard, but it would be really cool to actually go there and see it in person. And what's actually cool about it too, actually, when it comes to like movies and like they film in these very specific places, sometimes the local population will be in the movies specifically. Like I can't remember the name of the actual like village, but in the movie An American Werewolf in London, there is a actual like small town within Wales where they like the how you say the film crew actually went to and filmed like little bits and snippets of like the actual town, and you can actually still go to that place still. Actually, obviously, you won't find the slaughtered lamb there because it's not a real, it's not a real like pub or anything. But I believe the actual name of the pub is actually called the Black Swan. So, like, maybe it's like, it's kind of, I kind of need to remember if it's like named something else, but last time I checked, it was like the Black Swan. Honestly, if I was like in that place, I would name like a small pub the Slaughtered Lamb just to do like the bit and be like, oh, don't go outside during the full moon, lads. Stay to the roads. Well, actually, I was just thinking about it. I've been bringing up An American Werewolf in London a lot lately, and to be honest with you, it is a fantastic movie. It's a good blending of comedy with horror, and it just works perfectly. And if you haven't watched it, go and watch that movie. It's great. It came out in 1981, and no, it's just a great movie. Actually, the main actor who turns into the Kessler Wolf, you might find this interesting. He was actually in Dr. Pepper ads before being in that movie, which I found pretty cool when you look into it. Actually, like when you learn about like where he started from and then what he became. Not saying he transitioned from like a ad actor to like a actual movie actor, but it's pretty cool. Well, well, actually, well, here's another interesting movie fact you actually might find interesting when it comes to like movies. To bring up the creature from the Black Lagoon, if you were curious where Clint Eastwood ever did his first like film debut, he played a scientist actually in The Creature from the Black Lagoon 2. He was uncredited, but you can only see him just a bit. He's holding like a mouse in the lab in that movie, and that is Clint Eastwood. That was his very first film debut. He was uncredited, and what's kind of cool is that sometimes when you look at like an actor, you're like, oh, that actor is just, here for this one brief time. We're never going to see them again. Well, honestly, like, that's how kind of like big actors begin. They begin small. You don't really know them unless like they have some backing or something like that. And then they become bigger. It's the same with like artists of all stripes. So, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. There we go. Speaking of Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry. Those are also some really good films. And also, what's that? I was thinking of The Mule. That is not the movie I was thinking about. What's that? I think it's called Gran Torino. Excuse me. Gran Torino is a great movie. If you haven't watched Gran Torino, go watch it. It's a great movie. Fantastic movie, actually. Like like at the end of the movie, you feel sympathetic towards like, well, no, not sympathetic, but he gets redeemed at the end, which is great. Go watch it. Go watch that movie if you haven't. If you ever want to, like, when it comes to like Clint Eastwood, arguably at his best when it comes to like his later stuff, you should just go watch it. It's great. And honestly, like sometimes maybe some people may not like, unless you're a big movie buff, then maybe you'll be like, eh. But when Clint Eastwood started doing this, and then he looked at like one of the people in the film, like I remember like seeing some like big Clint Eastwood like fans I know who had did that, and they were like, "Oh, go watch that movie." And I'm like, "Why are you doing that?" And then when I actually watched the movie, I was like, "Oh, cool. It's a reference." Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how old Clint Eastwood is. I know he's still alive, but you know, it's kind of crazy to learn that a lot of these like real like legends like that they're still alive. Like Dick Van Dyke, he's still living. He's actually I believe he's 99 years old, almost 100. When you look at like all his movies, it's crazy to like imagine. And if you're asking who is Dick Van Dyke, Dick Van Dyke, he had played in a lot of notable films, but just so that you guys, well, also like a couple shows, but when it comes to Dick Van Dyke, he has played in Mary Poppins. He's also played in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is absolutely fun to say. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we love you. Dun, 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 dun. It's a great movie. He's also a really great singer. And he's also, he played as the main bad guy in Night at the Museum. He's that actor. Speaking of, well, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Honestly, when it comes to like musicals, okay. Either you really love musicals or you hate musicals, but I really enjoy several musicals actually. There's, how do you say? Would you say, no, actually I was going to say Wizard of Oz is a musical, and in some ways it is. I don't think it is. I'm not sure. But no, that's a great movie. The Sound of Music, and also West Side Story, another one, and then there's that one. I haven't seen it live, as in like haven't seen like actually been to like the specific musical, but I would have to say Cats. I don't get it. I'm not really into it. Not really interested. But when it comes to two musicals that I'm like, oh, I really like this, is Phantom of the Opera. Bum 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 bum. Like, great, fantastic. Like, honestly, like, go like look up like full performance Phantom of the Opera. You'll find like a lot of different like adaptations of like the musical, and like there's that one absolutely famous one that is like ever touring. It's actually the longest running musical in the world, actually, that started I'm not sure when exactly. I think it's like late 80s, and that's when it started, and it's been ever touring across like the world. But, you know, regardless if it's like the main one or like, all these different colleges like doing adaptations, it's great. I enjoy it. And also the other one too, it's been memed to death, but it's absolutely fantastic. It is, what's Little Shop of Horrors? That's a really good one. And also, I'm trying to think, what's the other name? The other one. I'm trying to think of the name. What's the name of it? What's the name of it? Late night. So. What's it called? It's horror kind. Well, no, it has horror elements. What is that called? What is it called? Hmm. Oh, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's it. That's it. Yes, yes, yes. As Tim Curry in it. How you do that? Candyman. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's great. All right. I probably did not really do that musical slash movie justice. I feel bad about it, but you know. Let me think. Is there any other good musicals? There's several out there. Actually, to bring up like Forbidden Planet, that's a great sci-fi movie. But apparently, in the 80s, there was a musical version of Forbidden Planet, and like I find that wild. It was in the UK specifically where that musical was, and like I don't know, I find it cool. And what's that? Oh, there's also Hamilton too, but I haven't watched it live, nor like really got invested to like watch that. But oh, there's also it's called Epic. Epic. Like, I'm not too familiar with like the actual like musical itself, but it's based on the Odyssey, which I think is pretty cool. I should take the time to like, you know, if not see it live, like watch it. I think it'd be pretty cool. And then there's The Wiz is another one. I've seen several. I've seen several. I've seen several. That's cool. So much good stuff. To be honest with you, it would be really honest with you. I know I started this stream a little bit like sluggishly, but to be honest with you, now like really getting into it, I feel fantastic. I honestly feel like this stream is just great. I'm just loving the direction of this stream. I'm just yapping about movies that I've watched and like other related topics, other related stuff. It's just great, you know. I love that kind of thing. You gotta love it, right? All right, there we go. We, well, I know it wouldn't like. Kind, well, it kind of falls. Well, no, it is a form of film. I know that I've kind of been like a little bit more loosey goosey when it comes to like. Well, that's a wild word to say, honestly, but you know that's completely fine. I know I've been kind of loose when it comes to like even including like some TV show stuff, which you know that's just a part of the game, you know. But when it comes to documentaries, there's just so many good ones out there. When it comes to like a really good documentary, like a musical. Well, no, it's not a musical, but it's about like music. I think the documentary is called like The Decline of Western Society. There's like it's a part of like a huger like documentary series, but they did a really interesting like exploration of metal and punk, which was really good. I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm waiting for one for like when they do like goth and everything. I think that's pretty interesting. I want to hear what like I want to hear what like how some people would like put like the history and the a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to like the goth subculture. But when it comes to like hardcore punk, a really great documentary to check out is called American Hardcore. That's a really great one. It kind of, and there's also one called Punk is Dead, and that one's a really good one too. So you will have like like one of the like original like hardcore hardcore punk bands from the 80s, and like they'll talk about their history, and then they'll go into like the 90s and then early 2000s, and like they did really like they had like interviewed several people from like how do you say Blink 182 to Pennywise to a whole bunch of those people. So you know if you want to get like really good perspective on like what punk was like in the 1980s in the United States mainly, go watch American Hardcore. Great documentary. And when it comes to like that alongside with like the 90s and early 2000s, watch Punk is Dead. That's a really good one too. If you want to get like a more broader like view of like punk specifically. Like you can find both of them on Tubi, which again like they have a good catalog of like documentaries, and specifically when it comes to like music based ones. Like there was this kind of okay documentary called I'm trying to think of the name. What is it called? Where the Wind Takes Us, and it's all like about like black metal. I think that's the name of the documentary. Could be wrong, but no, it's a really good documentary. It kind of gives like a better view of like black metal. Well, gives you like an idea about like black metal, and it kind of does some sensationalism, but you know, you kind of have to do that when it comes to like a documentary. And you know, to step away from like music documentaries, Behind the Curve is a really good one, and that's all about like flat earthers. And like, well, it doesn't just explore like the world of like flat earthers and how they see the world, but it's also like a really good like exploration of also conspiracy theories and how like it not just like affects like how people see the world, but also the people around them. I think it was a really good documentary all about that topic. So if you do like learning about, well, getting like perspective, I would definitely say definitely check out that documentary Behind the Curve. It doesn't just explore, like, it mainly explores like why people think the world is flat, but also explores like some of like the psychology of where people are like coming from. And it's like deeply interesting, deeply interesting. I love watching, like, when it comes to like documentaries, some people would be like, "Oh, those don't sound fun." But for me personally, I enjoy loving, well, I enjoy loving documentaries. No, I love watching documentaries. When it comes to like nature documentaries, like Planet Earth is a really great one, and like Blue Planet from like BBC is really great too. Actually, when I got like my Anubis tattoo, I actually went over to a thrift shop actually, and you know, while I was waiting for my ride to like take me back home and like, you know, take care of my tattoo and everything, I went to the like film section, and I found like the like a huge collection of Planet Earth, the whole like series, and it was like around like $4, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And like watching that, David Attenborough does a great job, just like commenting on like how you say, like the lives of these animals, and it does like all corners of the earth, and it's just really great. And if you haven't watched that documentary series, go watch that one, and also watch like Blue Planet or excuse me, Blue Planet 2. Great stuff. I used to watch um, that whole series. I used to watch that series a lot um, when I had like cable, and also like during like 2018 specifically. Um, 2018 was a kind of a very interesting year personally, and like I don't know, that was like the one thing I really did enjoy just watching when it comes to like documentaries. So, yeah. Good stuff. All right, there we go. Awesome. So, okay, we talked about like comic movies a little, like comic book movies, and then like what else? Some horror stuff here and there, and then just films about the sea and documentaries. Man, that, and also action figures too. I'm gonna be really honest with you. This has just been great. I've really been loving this stream. And also, look how much work we've done. It's great. Oh, I should probably go go get some sleep, actually. I need to do that. But again, I just wanted to like take a moment and say thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. You guys watching this is like, you know, a big motivator for me to continue. And again, I you know, a huge thanks to you guys. If you want to subscribe and support the stream that way, that's also hugely that's also hugely appreciated. If you don't want to, or you just can't, that's completely fine. I would, regardless, you watching is a huge huge boost. And again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. But okay, let's get back to it, shall we? All right, let me think. Let me think. Merp. Trying to think of some other good stuff. Let me think. Trying to think of some other good stuff to talk about. You know, I've kind of talked a little bit about like stop motion animation before, like here and there. But maybe like when it comes to like stop motion animation in movies, I would have to say, if you ever wanted to get into like stop motion animation when it comes to like movies, there like it used to be like huge, real huge. Not as much anymore, but there's still people that are still like not just enjoying it, but also producing it. Like I've talked before about like Phil Tippett, and Phil Tippett has been in a couple, like several like big movies. He's helped like make the stop motion for like Star Wars, and I think he was also working a little bit on like, what's that one thing called? On Jurassic Park. Obviously that movie is not stop motion animation, but he was like not an active part, but he was like still there because they were still thinking about like doing stop motion animation for that movie, but decided to go with CGI. But if you want like a really good like it's not really horror, but you know, it kind of counts. Kinda. But if you really want like a really good like stop motion animation movie, gonna be really honest with you, if you haven't watched the movie Mad God, you should. It was originally, well, it's still on Shudder. If you want like a Netflix but for horror movies, when it comes to like independent horror movies and just like you know, like new original stuff, not from like a major studio, go watch Shudder. They have a lot of good stuff on there. But Mad God is a really good one if you want like a like the story. It's not really driven by story, that movie. It's more or less like you're being moved in these different like spaces. Like the main character is like taking a bomb, and he's trying to like plant a bomb at the center of this hell essentially, and you are like moving through this giant sea of insane stuff going on. And like it's been a passion project for Phil Tippett. He started making it in the 80s, and if you watch that movie now, you can see footage that was like made 30 or 40 years ago. And it's, well, no, not even 40 years ago. More closer to like 50. Like getting close to that. And like it works really seamlessly with like the modern additions to that movie. So if you want like a really good like film that's just like more of a showcase of stop motion animation, you should watch that. And you should watch like Ray Harryhausen's like collection of films that he's worked on. He's also have done a whole like catalog of movies. When it comes to like Ray Harryhausen's contribution to like stop motion animation, a really great movie is The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. That's a really great one. It's how you say, that movie was, it came out before Godzilla did, and it kind of did influence like Godzilla as a movie too. It came out a year before Godzilla did, and it's a radioactive lizard monster that goes on a rampage in New York City, and it's an absolutely great movie. And also too, when it comes to like the earliest like versions of like stop motion animation I know of, would have to be King Kong from 1933. That's a great movie if you haven't watched it. Ooh. Got this guy. Oh. Come on. Yeah, come on. There we go. There we go. Perfect. This is looking great. All right, last one. I want to get as much done as I can, so again, we'll try to do as much. Like, I'm gonna try to like move quickly to make sure that we can get like the rest finished tonight. If not tonight, then probably on Sunday on the next stream. I was unfortunately going to cancel this stream because I had like a couple things to do before the stream, but no, it all did work out, so I didn't have to cancel it. And honestly, I'm thankful that I didn't, because again, this has just been a great night of just like streaming, just talking about movies. Again, like I do talk about movies here and there, but I don't really get to do like a full like just talk about movies specifically. It's great. All right. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Uh-oh. There we go. Speaking of the movies, I will be going to the movies actually on June 4th. and I'm gonna be going um with my family, and we're going to go see the final 2 episodes of The Amazing Digital Circus, and that'll be really fun. If you haven't watched The Amazing Digital Circus, you should. It's great. Awesome. Awesome stuff, actually. Yeah. I know I'm not really mentioning much on it, but I'm just trying to focus here to, like, you know, make sure everything goes well. Let's change the color a little bit. Let's go with red. Ooh, I don't know. Well, maybe let's go with orange? No. Yeah. How about this? There we go. That looks great. It's a little bit darker. That's good. All right. Oh, boy. Okay. I know that, like, this will probably come out, like, tomorrow. And this will probably not get that many, like, views when this goes over to YouTube. But honestly, like, the title is very self-explanatory. Like, today we just talked about movies. Just everything fun like that. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, when it comes to, like, the expectations, like, obviously there were, like, people who kind of made the standard, and I feel like when it comes to, like, not just with Minecraft, but just other things, regardless of, like, when it comes to, like, content creation stuff, like, there's a standard of, like, what to, like, create and how, like, to talk and all that stuff. I've never really been interested to do that. Like, you see it with, like, Mr. Beast. Like, there's people trying to copy him and just, like, have, like, that high energy and be, all right, everyone, we're gonna do this. And it's, like, the same when it comes to, like, I say, like, movie people too, like, movie reviewers. Like, there's a lot of good ones out there, and then there's just ones that are just, like, copying, like, other people and not really, like, trying to stand out, which, that's completely fine. But I personally not really interested to do that stuff. I just want to be me and just, stuff I like, and not, do that kind of thing. Actually, we'll take a whole break from this. We'll just take a break from, like, this project for right now, because I don't want to just work on this. Like, we've done a big chunk of it, but I just want to take a break now. And plus, we're at the ending stages for, like, the actual, like, construction. And I just want to, like, chill now and actually, like, take care of other things. You know what I mean? And plus, I was thinking, oh, how am I going to do this part of the project? And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to step away. All right. Let me just put these guys over here. There we go. I should probably take, well, no, we just need to like feed the animals. So here, let me just put all these away. And I'll maybe like in the next stream on Sunday, I might refill like the rest of these buckets of water. But, you know, we'll see. All right. Wow, cool. Excuse me. All right, let me go get the rest of the stuff. Seeds. I need the seeds. And plus, it's been a while since I actually did farm work. Well, it's not farm work, but agriculture work. There we go. But anywho. Right, let's see. Yes, perfect. Today we're probably just gonna feed the animals and let them like reproduce, and you know, if some just get a little bit more out of hand, we'll take care of it. All right. There we go. But does anyone have plans for the weekend? I brought up mine, and I'm just going to be doing, I'm mainly just going to be going to the party, which will be pretty fun. It'll be a emo night, and that'll be really fun. It'll be my second emo night. So, yeah. I also do need to, like, post the pictures from Winnipeg. I'll probably do that maybe tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. Just because. And I'll post them on my Instagram. Which, by the way, if you don't follow on Instagram, you should. Just saying. After this, probably, then I'll just hang up the stream. I'll end it, and then I'll probably get ready for I do work tomorrow, but that's also to make like I didn't work on Monday, so I need to like do that, and then I'll be good. Alright, come on. My goodness, there's so many eggs. Oops, sorry. There's 3 of them. Come on. Here. There we go. There we go. Sorry if you can hear my dog, by the way. My apologies. Here. There. There we go. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough chickens for now. None of them are gonna die, but yeah. Well, actually, I'll let one out. There you go. Live your life, man. Be free, chicken. Actually, just one. One more. There you go. You're free now. Live your life. Yeah, I'll probably do these guys next. Just get some wheat out. Uh-oh. Come on. Come on. Alright. Alright. There we go. Just a little bit. Here. There we go. Awesome. All right, let's go. Probably in the next stream we'll take care of the rest. Like the actual like collecting. But for now, no. There we go. Awesome. Come on. There. Well, just one. One can go free. I don't know what camels eat in Minecraft, actually. Maybe they actually eat, like, wheat? I don't know it. Let me try. Come on. Oh, no. Wait, actually, carrot. No. I don't think they eat stuff, actually. Let me try watermelon. You guys gonna eat it? No, okay. These guys are really cool. I'm happy I made this space for them, actually. They have a little nice view of the world, and I don't know, it's awesome. Alright. Alright. Let me just go over here. The horse looks great. There. Alright. I think that's it. Yeah. Wait, let me go check the eggs. Ah, excuse me. Yeah, these are our sniffer eggs. We'll probably, See these guys. Oh, wow, look at this one. These guys are really cool animals. I'm really happy that I have, like, these creatures exist in Minecraft. You know what I mean? So, there we go. All right. You know what? We'll go over here, and that's where I'll end the stream. Yeah. All right. I had a great time with you guys. I had a fantastic time, actually. Oh boy, I'm tired. I am. This will probably come out maybe tomorrow afternoon. Most probably. Or like around that time, like that's when I'll start uploading it, so it'll probably come out tomorrow night, maybe. Kind of hard to say sometimes. But yeah, no, I had a great time with you guys. Uh if you're seeing this on YouTube, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff, and join us here on Twitch. And I hope you have a great day and night wherever you are in the world or whenever you're watching this. Over on YouTube and here on Twitch temporarily. I'll see you guys on Sunday. And remember, stay happy and healthy and everything between. So I'll see you guys. Take care, guys. See ya.